From the memorable Cheers to the infamous Breaking Bad. Stay tuned to number 1 to find out about 10 iconic restaurants from both TV and movies. Number 10. Cheers. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. The idea of Cheers was somewhat novel, a bar that united all sorts of people and delved into their lives to show that no matter what's going on and what needed to be done, they knew that they could be happy because there was a place and a group of people that could take care of them. For 11 seasons, Cheers charmed millions, and when it went off the air, it was one of the most viewed endings in TV history. But what happened to the bar? Well, that's a two-part story. For every time they showed an outside shot of Cheers, it was actually the Bull Finch Club, while the interior shots were a Hollywood set. However, after a while, the Bull Finch Club became the Cheers Beacon Hill, and the owners did their best to recreate the inside of the legendary bar. However, if you're a purist who wanted to go and see the real Cheers bar, head to the Faneuil Hall Marketplace in Boston, Massachusetts, where they've made a full-blown replica of the Cheers bar. No promises, though, that everyone will know your name there. Number 9. Top Notch Burgers. Does that name sound familiar to you? If you're a movie fan, it might, because it was one of the locations of the hit movie Dazed and Confused. This movie was very much a teen movie and followed various groups of kids during their last day of school in Austin, Texas. True to form, this film actually used a lot of on-site locations, meaning they used Texas to its fullest to truly sell that they were in the state. One of these locations was a top-notch hamburgers place. In fact, this location is very special to one actor in particular, Matthew McConaughey, for his very first scene in the movie was done right there at Top Notch Burgers. He also spoke his now iconic phrase, "All right, all right, all right," as he tried to woo a girl. Going back to the burger joint, you'll still find Top Notch Burgers open, 7 days a week in fact, and they serve all kinds of food that you might enjoy having. Number 8. Holston's. Before we take this trip down memory lane, take a moment to like this video and join the Zero to Hero community by using the buttons below. Let's talk about a show called The Sopranos. This was a landmark show in many ways as it depicted the mafia in a very clever way, showing all of the ins and outs that go with being part of the family. For nearly 10 years, this show had it all: the intrigue, the suspense, the surprises, and more. And it saved its biggest surprise for the ending of the series. For in the end, Tony Soprano and his family were going to go into witness protection, and they were last seen in a restaurant called Holston's with Journey's "Don't Stop Believing" blasting in the background. But then, just when you thought you knew what was coming, Tony Soprano looked up at the camera and the screen went blank. Many wondered if it was a glitch in the system that somehow hid the gunshot that many felt had happened, or if this was intentional. Why did they do it? Turns out it was intentional, and no one truly knows what happened in Holston's that night. However, if you want to go see the spot where Tony Soprano ended, you can. Holston's is a real restaurant in New York, and quite fittingly, when the actor who played Tony Soprano passed away in real life, James Gandolfini, the restaurant marked the table he was at as reserved. Always respect the head of the family. Number 7. Katz's Delicatessen. What is there to say about the movie When Harry Met Sally that hasn't already been said? It's interesting take on romantic comedy, with both Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal playing their roles to perfection. But for most people, when they think about the movie, they think about the "I'll have what she's having" scene, where Harry and Sally have a very candid conversation about their love lives, and it gets a lot of looks from the ongoing crowd. The scene itself, though, takes place in a restaurant called Katz's Delicatessen, and it's still open today. But what might be the most surprising thing here isn't about that restaurant's place in the film, but that the restaurant itself has been around since 1888. That's right, this restaurant has been around for over 130 years. How many restaurants can you name that have done that? So needless to say, having filmed When Harry Met Sally in that place was pretty cool for its legacy, but it already had one of its own, and it's gonna continue making it. Number 6. The Bluebird Cafe. Keeping on with restaurants having fame before their appearances in shows and movies, let's head down to Nashville, Tennessee and talk about the Bluebird Cafe. This film has been featured heavily in the hit series, wait for it, Nashville. Yes, the irony is rich here. But so is the history of the cafe itself. You see, this has been a place that has not only served food, but has also been an outlet for young, up-and-coming artists to go and sing their hearts out. In fact, the one and only Garth Brooks even performed here once before he made it into the big time. Not surprisingly, the show Nashville uses it much in the same way. They've had numerous cast members sing in the Bluebird Cafe for various reasons, and have shown it in non-singing ways too, as the place keeps coming back up. Because of this, more and more artists have come to the cafe to try to get a shot at their fame, as well as having tons of fans come by just to see the cafe of one of their favorite shows. But be warned, if you're hoping to find a big place to sit and eat, it's not that. It seats less than 100 people, but that just makes it more personable when the singer comes onto the stage. Number 5. Elat Burger. You might be familiar with the name of this restaurant, and you're probably racking your brain trying to think of what movie has this place. Well, I'll give you a hint. It was a movie that featured Earth's mightiest heroes. Yep, that's right, it's the Avengers, the first one. Where was a burger joint in there? Well, don't think about burgers. Instead, think about shawarma. That's right, this was the restaurant depicted in the end credits for the film. The shot of the team eating at a restaurant in the slightly destroyed New York. It was a lovely little scene and proof that even Earth's mightiest heroes needed to eat once in a while. But here's the rub. Elat Burger actually isn't in New York. In fact, it's in Los Angeles on Pico Boulevard. Granted, they didn't say the name of the place or specify where it was in the movie, so it's not their fault. But still, it's important to know where it actually is. And yes, they do sell shawarma. Number 4. Cafe Lalo. Let's head back to the world of romantic comedies, and one you might remember called You've Got Mail. Though this is a very outdated film given the wonders of the internet nowadays, it was at one time actually rather charming. As two very different kinds of people, in this case Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, were rivals in many ways of life, including their bookstores. But through a series of emails, they started to fall for one another, though they didn't know it at the time, because you can't see who's sending the email. But the place that is best recognized for its role in the film is Cafe Lalo, which is most definitely a real place in New York. You'll find it on the Upper West Side. It was here that the characters had a key argument, and yet it was also here that the seeds were laid for their relationship. So if you want to, go check it out. And just to be safe, check your email first. Number 3. Tweed's Cafe. They say that the right location can help set a scene better than any set can. For David Lynch, he needed a place that just felt right. And so when he went to North Bend, Washington and saw the place called Tweed's Cafe, it's had many other names in the past, he knew that he had found the perfect place for his TV series, Twin Peaks. That's right, this is the place that had cherry pie and dang fine coffee. And it has been featured in every single version of Twin Peaks, from the first 2 seasons of the show to the movie prequel, Fire Walk With Me, and the highly anticipated and trippy Twin Peaks: The Return. The location was important to not just the setting, but to the story, as many key moments happened here. And while the restaurant has gone through many ups and downs, including a fire that ravaged it, if you go there now, it looks exactly like it does in Twin Peaks. Number 2. Los Pollos Hermanos. Nothing stops this train. I am the one who knocks. You know the business, and I know the chemistry. I could go on and on with all the Breaking Bad references, but that's not why you're here. No, you're here because you want to know about Los Pollos Hermanos, the restaurant that was an integral part of Breaking Bad for its 5 seasons, including being the front for Kingpin Gus Fring. Well, it's tricky, because technically, Los Pollos Hermanos doesn't exist. There is no restaurant named that. But the place where the scenes were filmed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, most definitely is real, and it's called Twister's. Twister's is actually a chain of taco and burrito restaurants located in New Mexico, though they serve other food too. If you're fearful of not seeing what you want, trust me when I say that the inside is just like it is in the show. In fact, the owners have kept it that way because Breaking Bad's popularity has brought a lot of people to the restaurant. You're gosh dang right. Okay, that was the last one. Number 1. Tom's Restaurant. Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. This simple premise became the backbone of one of the greatest comedy sitcoms in history, one that is still played all over the world today. And one of the most iconic places from that legendary series is Tom's Restaurant. Of course, in the show it's called Monk's Cafe, and it was a place where all the characters could go and talk and vent and have fun and just be themselves, doing nothing. Ironically though, the outside of Tom's Restaurant is very real, and that's why they used it in the show for the outside shots. But the interiors was actually a set. That hasn't stopped millions from going to see it though, and who can blame them? Have you ever been inside of one of these restaurants? Let us know in the comments below and take care.